Good evening, sir. Good evening, sir. How's your day going? I was about coming live and I saw that you're already live. And it's a great thing knowing that you're around. How's life and how's work and how's everything today? Yeah. Welcome to the Man of Thought once more, aka the Villain of Truth, aka the Black Panther of Nigeria. I believe in the next few minutes a lot of people would be joining us live. I'm actually also hoping to see Lisa, and I kind of have a couple of questions for Lisa, and I believe that with the help of Rusty also we can come up with few things and have few good discussion. So, if you're just joining me today, we're going to talk about the idea of trust, and this is the subject we treated early today. But I don't know, maybe we give about 2 minutes to see people who are going to be joining for people to get notified. Um, I hope the mic is not too loud because I'm still trying to um, work on it so I get used to how it actually functions. Mm, yeah. Good. I was asking if the mic is not too high, Mr. Rusty. If you can hear me clearly. Too low. Okay. Rusty says it's fine. Someone else said it's low. Or was that Rusty that said it's too low? Okay, 7 says too low. Okay, 7 said good. Thank you very much. Thank you. I really do appreciate. I hope you guys had a great day. I hope today was kind of fruitful and things are going fine with everyone. Hopefully, as we continue on today's subject, all right, that's good to hear. Hopefully, as we talk about the subject, most likely Lisa might join us along the line. I would have loved to ask her a couple of questions, and if Rusty have few questions also, that will be fine because your questions are very interesting. So earlier today, I think this noon we had a conversation. Oh, thanks for joining, Mr. Creed. 7 also, and Mr. Creed, please double tap your screen and show like. It might most likely notify everyone. Mr. Creed, today we are talking about trust. That's what today's subject is all about. We are talking about trust. And we touched on it earlier today in the noon, and I was giving my insights. And while I was giving my insights on the idea of trust, we kind of dove into something else because, okay, I think Creed was with us yesterday when we were discussing about trust. And Lisa came yesterday and she was bitter, saying that she doesn't want any man or men. She talked about double standard and the rest of it. And for me, before I came live today, I actually touched on the subject of double standard also. and I posted it out. And one of the things I was able to touch regarding the subject of double standard is there is always going to be a double standard. And I'm even going to narrate something to I about double standard because we operate in different way. Yeah, Creed and I would be better. Yeah, both of you will be you'll be good. It's been a while. One of Rusty's rival on platform. It's been a while I hear from him. That's Canary King. It's been a while I heard from Canary King. Probably he has not been around for maybe he's busy and the rest of it. Okay. I have a couple of questions I would be asking, and we are going to let's just touch on the subject. Earlier today, when I spoke about the idea of trust, I pointed out to a fact that trusts, I don't know where that word actually evolved from. I think I didn't do my search to it regarding trust, but there were a few things I was able to get on trust. Rusty. That's true. Yeah. Rather, this is what I say. I think it is the way we view things. The word is not that scary. The word is entertaining in a sense, very entertaining. So when I was speaking on the idea of trust, there were a few things I was actually looking at, and I said, okay, let me take my time and even look at the real definition of trust. And in dictionary, trust simply means trust is. Do I have the definition here? Okay. When I look at the Oxford Dictionary, I think they wrote that trust means confidence in or reliance on some person or quality. Trust means confidence in or reliance. We can use confidence or reliance on some person or quality. Now, looking at the subject of trust, a lot of people, we can actually agree on a sense that you cannot get betrayed if you don't trust someone. No one can get betrayed if you don't trust people. But in our life today, it seems that for us to be able to flourish as human, we most likely have to fall into the idea of trusting people. Creed says trust is like faith. What's the meaning of faith? Acting upon something, believing it's going to work out. And for me, I kind of have some kind of questions that I would throw out. To anyone who is joining me on the platform, I want to ask a question, which I am also going to give my own answer. What does trust mean to us? And how we have evolved over time. What does trust mean to us? Because I know for everyone, we kind of have different definition when it comes to the idea of trust. What does trust really mean to every single one of us? When you say trust, what does it mean to you? So I'm not going to, mistaking the idea of just definition of words and then we start saying things that might not really align. What does trust mean to us? Based off the definition I see, and I would like anyone to give in their insight also. Okay? Creed is pushing us closer. Creed says that trust is something that once it is broken, it is difficult to rebuild. But what does trust mean to us? Rusty says that's why Samson never went to the barber because he don't. Sorry. To me, when I look at the definition of trust, I believed that at some point in my life, I used to trust people. I used to trust things. And as I begin to grow, when I begin to view life and I was being betrayed, because definitely the only way you get betrayed is the idea that you have trust in somebody. And every single one of us have been betrayed in one way or the other. Every single one of us have been betrayed in one way or the other. And as I continuously understand the word trust, I begin to realize that the word trust actually is just a fallacy. It's just a lie that most likely doesn't really exist. And I could be wrong. Rusty says that I try to trust everyone until they give me reason not to, but it's very hard to actually live like that. I used to always try also, and the reason why we most times fall into the concept of trusting people is basically because our parents and the religion taught us how to trust in people. And in fact, without trust, according to the words people say, that without trust, there is no foundation for any strong, lasting relationship. Creed says, exactly, but you need to trust yourself and your guts. I have certain inciting parts for me, how I view these things. Now, trust me, like I said, when I was a child, I used to trust people, and I think all this communication of trust or subject of trust actually spring up from religion, spring up from friendship. We always kind of seek for somebody to trust, and we have made it kind of a priority in the society that we should be able to trust one another. And I felt that most of our experience in life is basically because we trust people. And whenever we trust people, there is a chance that we are going to get betrayed. And if we look at the definition of trust according to um, Oxford Dictionary, say trust means confidence or reliance on a person or certain quality. So that means you can decide to put your trust in somebody, or you can trust a particular material. You can trust something, and that's the definition of trust. But while I was growing and I felt betrayed by people, and I began to look into the idea of trust, I begin to realize that trust is a fallacy because you can't even trust yourself. Please, and I know you're going to say this, When we say trust, just for example, when you have a girlfriend, what do you trust her not to do? What did you believe that your girlfriend cannot do? How do you have trust in a human being that that person is not going to cheat on you? How do we go into relationship trusting the fact that the lady we decide to choose is not going to cheat on us? Please, if there's an answer, I would like to hear from you. And secondly, how sure are you that you trust yourself? How sure are you that you trust yourself? When I was speaking in the noontime, I said something regarding trust. I'm like, either you put your trust in God, or you put your trust in an item, or you put your trust in a relationship or in somebody. You can be betrayed by that particular individual or by that entity. You might feel betrayed. Some people will go to church and they pray to God and they realize like it seems as if their prayer is not being accepted. And that's why you hear that certain people say they backslide and they stop going to church, or they don't trust the idea of church. So in my experience of trust, what I've been able to do is to choose competency over trusting someone. I choose to know the competency of someone than to put my trust in someone. Now, the reason why I use the word competent is this. I think I wrote something down regarding the idea of trust somewhere, and I am trying to bring back those words, which I wrote something down. I said, people often feel that trust is valuable because of its intertwined with security and predictability. People often feel that trust is valuable because it's intertwined with security and predictability. When you say you trust someone, you are essentially saying that you believe in their ability to act in your best interests, even when you are not watching. I repeat that particular statement. People often feel that trust is valuable because it's intertwined with security and predictability. When you say you trust someone, you are essentially saying that you believe in their ability to act on your best interests, even when you are not watching. Please, do you agree with that definition? I think Creed says yes already. Do we agree with that definition? I try to break it down beyond the definition of Oxford Dictionary. I think it's a simple term when we say we do trust people. And the watchword here is that in your best interest. So maybe I read it last time so I can explain it. People often feel that trust is valuable because it's intertwined with security and predictability. When you say you trust someone, you are essentially saying you believe in their ability to act in your best interest. Now let's look at it in this perspective. When you employ a good engineer who knows how to fix a car, you can trust in the fact that they are competent. But can you trust them? You can trust in their ability, but can you trust them? Maybe you gave the individual few cars in the past to help you fix the car, or you have an organization and that you have maybe 5 engineers or mechanics who knows how to fix cars, and there are 5 particular cars these individuals always repair. So you can look at their ability to know that these individuals are actually competent to take care of a car, to fix a car when it has any issue. But does that mean you can trust them fully? What do I mean by trust them fully or trust is that when you're not there, trusting the fact that that person would always do something in your own best interest, in your own best interest. Can you really trust the person that when you are not around, this person would most likely take care of your business? And I think that when we make decision to trust someone, we put a lot of responsibility in that person. We shift our responsibility to that person. And we believe that that particular individual will be able to stand for us in any gap or in whatever gap we have put that person into. Creed, I would like to understand what you're saying. You said, I have never seen that. My discovery about humans is that humans are all in different seasons in your life. Every human that come into your life, they are in a particular season. And that season is the fact that Creed says, I have never seen any trustworthy person. If you haven't seen them, maybe you're looking for them. There's a possibility you're searching for a trustworthy person. Okay, I think Creed is the one who said he's not married, right? Creed says he's not married. And so you said you're looking for you haven't found a trustworthy person. The only thing you can bet your money on, for example, if you're going into a relationship, is you can bet your money on who that person is. What are the characters of that person? Grit says, okay, what are the characters of that individual? Because the only thing you can know about people is their competency, how competent they are. You can never know if you can put certain things in the hands of people. Let's put it in this perspective. I might give you a business of 2 million naira. I'm using my currency as an example. Rusty says, Creed, you get paid to work. You trust your employer to pay you on time. Do you on time? Do you not? You can trust in the fact that what will I put it? I'm trying to look for a better word to use. You can hope for a fact that after a period of time you are going to be paid certain amount for the work you have actually done. But can you trust the fact that they would always deliver? Now, the reason why I am using the word trust is simply because I understand how it actually plays a role in humans' relationship. So I say, it is better. You might look at people and you say, okay, these individuals are kind of competent. I can choose people because they are competent. And if I say I trust someone, that means I have shifted a different responsibility of what I am supposed to do. I have shifted that responsibility to that person. Okay, Creed says, I am talking about personal business. We were betrayed and all. Yeah. So in reality, when you say you trust someone, what you do is that you shift your responsibility, certain kind of responsibility that you are supposed to control, you shift that responsibility to somebody else. Put it in this perspective also. If you see a mechanic who is competent to fix your car, and the person has a shop, or you find the person on the road and you know that person is competent, you can tell the person to fix your car. But that doesn't mean you can, when you say I trust you will fix my car for me, you can leave that person with that car and go far away. But do you know what that person can do when you're not around your car? Yes, the person might be able to fix your car, but can you trust for the fact that when you put that car in the person's hand, apart from fixing the car, the person would not open your boot to steal something from your boot? Now, when most of us are actually going to relationship, we always want to trust our partner. The reason is that because we feel like when we trust our partner, it makes us to be able to flow better in that relationship. So we push all responsibility on that person, saying that you would never cheat on me. You would always do this particular thing. You would do this and you would never do this. That is the idea of trust. But rather, if you go into a relationship knowing that I have a woman who actually have a great family, where she came from a good family, and she has the good character. And if this woman has a good character and we go into this relationship, I can only believe in the fact of who she is as a person. But I don't necessarily have to put my trust in the woman. You say, imagine you leave a family member who is sick with someone you can't trust. How bad is that? I will tell you a story. One of my eldest sister just got married last month. We did a traditional marriage. I think I posted some of the clips. When she was very little, a woman was taking after my mom gave birth to her. My mom told me this story, and there are these people we call omugo, people who come for omugo, people who would come and they massage the baby, they take care of the baby, and the mother also sometimes. And when you want to bat a baby, according to Africa, what we do is you use a very hot towel and you put it on that person, on the baby, and you use it in massaging that baby. But what actually happened was that the woman dropped that cloth on my sister's tummy, and the cloth burnt her stomach. Now there's a difference when you say, I hold on to this individual because I know this person is competent. And there's a difference when you say, I trust the fact that this person will do everything. Because if you most people, when we say trust, there's a distinction of words I'm trying to bring in. Hopefully we are able to get that particular narration. That the idea, when we talk about trust, most times we are talking about shifting a responsibility to someone completely, hoping that that person would never betray us. And every time we go into a relationship, every single time we go with people, putting our trust in them and saying we know they would never do something that is bad, that is most time we experience negative things in our life. You can take someone to the hospital and you say, okay, I know this doctor is competent to take care of my mother or my sister or somebody or my family member. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you trust the doctor. Okay, in Africa, in this place, we have countless of cases, because I used to sometimes occasionally work as a tracker for the law enforcement. Occasionally, I help them track in case there's a burglar. Maybe you steal phone, or they are tracking cars, or there's you need to get a signal. Maybe there are kidnappers and the rest of it. I sometimes do those kind of stuff. Now, one of the things we have seen so far is that there are a lot of people who you actually put your trust in, and you call the police and you think that the police are coming to help you out of something because you trust that the police will help you. You can only believe or trust the ability of the law enforcement. You believe or you trust the competency of the law enforcement, but you cannot trust the fact that they are always there to do things for your own favor, even regardless of the fact that maybe you have a case and you are telling the truth and you even have evidence. The establishment of law enforcement, for example, is so that we can actually go in those places whenever we have any, maybe there's any criminal case or anything happen to us. We should go to them and lay a report, and they will do things to save our life and properties. Most law enforcement are competent to save your life and your property. But do you trust the fact that they are not going to side with somebody else, regardless of the fact that you are the one who laid the complaint, you are the one that is being hurt, things bad actually happen to you? Do you trust the fact that those law enforcement will do things in your best interest? And the moment you trust the fact that people are going to do things in your best interest, then that is why you are going to see a lot of manipulation and you are going to feel betrayed by people. Churches, for example, if you check Catholic church, because these people call most of these churches, they pray and the rest of it. Please, you can do some research. How many millions, almost billions, have they paid to the family of people where they say some pope were pedophiles sleeping with male children? Male children. Their parents entrusted most of this pope. And please, you can go online and just verify what I'm saying. Many court cases with a lot of popes having sex with younger male children. Why? Their parents trust. Sometimes we have cases here whereby, yeah, that's what trust is. Because trust simply means you are shifting your responsibility to another person. You cannot trust someone if you have not commit something into that person's hand. Which says very disturbing. That's true. We have seen pastors, a man who has issues with his wife and they need counseling, and he takes his wife. He and his wife went for counseling to meet the pastor, and then the pastor asked the individual to come back. The woman should come back. Let him pray for her. The husband thought that the man is a man of God, and he left his wife to go do night vigil. How many times have we heard these issues where pastors are sleeping with their member? Let even say some of them are maybe between the lady and the pastor. What about the situation of graping a church member? Why do some pastors grape church members? So when you go to your pastor, you and your wife go to your pastor, and you are receiving counseling, and then your pastor says, okay, tomorrow you don't have to come, Mr. Man, but your wife can come, and your wife come and you start having sex with your wife. Why? You put your trust that the pastor is going to resolve the conflict with you and your spouse, and he is always going to do things in your own best interest. Every time we trust people, it is basically because we have a mindset that they will do things for our own best interest. Now the question is this: rather than us committing that side, why not we live more with knowing their ability, knowing their competency, and being aware that they are humans and they most likely might not be able to retain certain things. And there's a season in their life that most likely will change. And when that season actually change, they might do something that is crazy. I hope you are getting me. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So when you go into a relationship or when you're looking for a woman, my idea would have been, don't go for a lady that you trust. Don't just trust a lady. Pay attention to how competent she is. Pay attention of her abilities. For example, does she take care of her mom and her dad? Does she take care of her junior ones? Perhaps she does. Does she take care of her friends? If she does, Rusty says the word trust comes from the Middle English noun trust, which is related to the German word Trost, meaning comfort. That's interesting. That is interesting. So rather than us put our trust in someone, it's basically because we want to shift a responsibility to that person. And someone would say, if I don't trust my wife, then that means I don't want to be with my wife. Entomology. Yeah, I think I've heard the word entomology, or is it entomology? Etymology. Okay, etymology. You say entomology or you say etymology? What's the meaning of that? What's that study about? So, like I was referring to, is that you can only know the ability of somebody. You can only understand that this person is competent in these particular areas and affairs of life. Okay, finding out the origins of words. Yeah, that's great. And when you use the word that you trust yourself in what way? How can you trust yourself? One of the things I've been able to do for me is that I don't trust, I don't know how to put it because people might not even understand what I'm saying. I don't so much trust myself. And I know people will say, what do you mean by that word that you can't trust yourself? I don't trust myself. You know, if you listen to the Lord's Prayer, the Bible says, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this days our daily bread. As we forgive. Okay. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us these days our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation. Rusty finishes up. Whoever trusts in his own mind is a fool, but he who walks in wisdom, yes, will be delivered. Creed says, I choose wisdom. Because the idea is, and do not put us into temptation. That means temptation, regardless of what you trust yourself or you think that you can do, when certain temptation begins to hit your life, you most likely would break. The question is that the person who you decide to put your trust in, do you know what that person can bear? Because there's one particular side of Bible that say God will never put more than we can bear. There are certain people that you have to do a lot to scare them, and there are certain people like you don't have to do anything and they are always going to be scared, or they are going to be scared automatically. So what aspect of trust do you have for people? For me, I do not put my trust in people, and I don't trust myself. As I begin to grow in life, I don't trust myself. What I rather do is this: I don't trust the fact that I can handle everything in life. Because the moment you believe you can handle everything in life, you trust yourself that you can handle everything in life, you are going to be surprised. For me, I only believe that I can prepare myself for what life has to throw for me or throw to me. I only believe that if I prepare myself for what life can possibly throw at me, then that means I stand a chance. Not just to survive, but come out in the positive light. This is just exactly, I just had to write it to word it exactly how my mind actually process things. Because what I wrote here, it says, I don't trust I can handle everything in life. I only believe if I prepare myself for what life can possibly throw at me, I stand a chance not just to survive, but to come out in the positive light. All right. I'll be expecting to hear that, Mr. Rusty. The best you can do is to prepare yourself in life. Prepare yourself in a sense like, I don't know what life is going to throw at me, but what I know is that if I prepare myself for any challenge that life is going to throw at me or any opportunity life is going to throw at me, I may stand a chance to be able to survive and I will come out in a positive light. That's not trust. That is the idea that you are a work in progress. Because the moment you trust yourself, it's more or less like you have become stagnant. It's more or less like you have become comfort in a particular way of seeing life. And then when life throws something at you that you're not expecting, then you shouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Trust is subjective. And finally, trust can be improved. So the thing is this: when people go into relationship and they say that they trust the fact that their wife is not going to cheat on them, what kind of trust is that? How do we know that people do not value their own desire than your union? Creed says the mind is dangerous. How sure you know that this particular person does not value their own desire than your union? Then let us ask ourselves question why we talk about the idea of trust. It might be interesting if anyone can answer this, or if we all can answer this. Have we ever betrayed someone? NF, okay. Did I just touch something on my screen? Okay. No, 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 no. I saw all your text, Rusty. You did wipe out my whole earlier text. No, 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 no. I saw everything. Creed says, yes, I listened to him. I don't understand what you guys are talking about here. Is Lisa here? Please, if Lisa is here, we would also have certain conversations. I want to ask for those of us who actually said, trust is subjective. Is it true that we have actually betrayed other people's trust? In my opinion, I think yes, we have in some ways. Humans can be trusted. Yes, humans can be trusted, but trust is complex and can change over time. Absolutely. Absolutely. These particular things kind of, they are kind of difficult for people to just wrap their mind around. But I think that one of the primary thing, trust is relational. Trust is based on authenticity, logic, and empathy. I agree with that. Trust is relational. Trust is based on authenticity, logic, and empathy. Yeah. How come? Or maybe you have to, maybe you cancel the live and you just continue, or you start afresh and it will pick up. I don't know how these things works. Because this 51 minutes 41 seconds. And one of the reason why I use a statement like, oh, I do not trust myself, is that I decide to be careful than to say that I trust myself. Because the idea is this: if we say that we trust ourselves, I am caught up now. I had a call which paused the live. Okay, so I was behind when I came back. All right, all right, all right. Yeah. One of the reasons why I say I don't trust myself is basically because the moment you make a statement that you trust yourself, then it simply means that you have come to a junction or to a mindset that you know you are this, or this is what you can do. I think if you want to go through life, part of my part of my way that I use in viewing life is I make a decision to be careful of all my choices every single time. One of the things I believe, like I said earlier, is I can only prepare myself in life for whatever life has to throw to me or throw at me, or whatever challenge I'm going to face in life. I can only prepare myself for it, but that doesn't mean that I would always be able to trust myself that I am not going to fail in life. Because most people who trust themselves that they wouldn't fail in life, when those people get disappointed in themselves because they do fail, then would you say you betray yourself? You most likely would not agree you betrayed yourself. And in life, the only thing we have to look at when we want to have a long relationship with people, I trust myself to keep failing. Rusty says, I trust myself to keep failing in life. Yeah. If I succeed, I'll be happy, but I can't absolutely say I trust myself 1,000,000%. And the idea about this particular communication, when I spoke about trust, I don't trust I am a good person. Absolutely. Absolutely. I only try to be careful. I try to be careful with how I treat people, how I speak to people. I try to be careful, but regardless, uh, let me put it in this way. If you trust yourself that you are a good person in life, the only thing you know is your intentions. So I'm debunking that question, word that Creed says. I'm debunking it for Rusty. When you say you are a good person, you can only say that due to the experience of your own intention. Trust me, if you ask Hitler, is it Adolf Hitler? If you ask Hitler if Hitler was a good person, Hitler would tell you that everything he was doing was that it was good and it was for good reasons. I absolutely don't think I am a good person. I only see myself as a seeker trying to find a way to be good. And when your intentions is like you are a good person, if you have that mind and you say I am completely a good person, and you follow through certain principles in life, what if perhaps you say something that is offensive to somebody else, that breaks somebody's heart and makes somebody cry, just because you believe in something? Does that actually mean you are a good person, or you have that definition to yourself that you're a good person? And regardless of the fact that you hurt somebody, though you might have a good intention, but you hurt somebody, the only time I can know that I am good is based of the relationship and the testimony of that particular person to me. Perhaps you call me online and you tell me now that you need an assistance from me, and I'm able to render that assistance to you. It is your testimony, because I am doing it thinking it is the right thing to do. But just because it is the right thing to do does not mean that I have done what is good. Just because my intention is to do what is good, the perception of the other person might be that what I have done is bad. And a lot of governors, a lot of presidents, a lot of politicians, most of them think they are good. And once you come into that conclusion and you say, I know I am a good person, how can you be so sure you are not hurting someone? Used to be a good person, but now I consider myself a good person because I live my life now only doing to others what I would want done to me. That's a good definition. When I talk about alphabetical stuff, I will say, do unto others as you wish to be done by. Hey, Lisa is here. Before we go to the idea of before we switch our subject, because we have been waiting for Lisa since we started. I've said, is Lisa around? So I was waiting. But before, one of the things that Rusty says is that I only do unto others as I wish to be done by. It's the only scripture I like to preach. It's all religious: Torah, Bible, and Quran. Creed says, well, I didn't have a good childhood because I got adopted early in my life, and I don't know how to engage with people, and the people in my life were terrible. They ignore me and I treat bad. Okay. For me, here's what I do. You might treat people how you want to be treated, and you may categorize that makes you good. But you see, when we understand the word good in a sense, creed, that does not make you a bad person. It makes them bad for how they treated you. Mm. Creed, that does not make you a bad person. It makes them bad for how they treated you. My perception for it, to me, is that I believe I can only get better in life. That's what I can do. I can get better in life. I don't think I'm absolutely good, but I think I have a chance to become a better person. And sometimes I've heard people who say that they are good and that becomes the hindrance to their life. And when you say, I am a good person, why are bad things happening to me? Most times when we consider ourselves like we are good, and then there are certain situations that arise in our life, and those situations are not favorable, and we think it's just basically because we are good, life is not supposed to treat us in that particular way, we might not be able to improve or reflect. Sometimes life needs us to be competent, and in our competency, we are capable of both good and evil. And the only thing I focus on is, how can I get better with people? There was a time I knew, okay, I was good, I fought for people, I was a good person. And whenever I see people fighting, or there's something, maybe someone who is close to me having an issue, I go and I almost destroy the other person, thinking that I was defending my people. But as I begin to grow and I say, yes, these particular individuals, in my heart, I'm trying to do good. The people who I'm supporting, they would say I'm a good person. But the person who I am having that challenge with, that person might not see me in that good light. So rather, for me to be a better person, I had to improve from the idea of being good in defending my people to become better, rather than me to go and fight my friend's enemy. Rather, I try to find a way to unite my friends and my enemies, or his enemies. I try to bring back a relationship around them, because if you only admit to the idea that you are good, sometimes I don't want to look as if I'm bringing out words where words does not really exist. Maybe we saying that, oh, somebody's talking about, do you mean if you're good then you're perfect? No, I think I just put it in this way, like I'm optimistic to life. I open my eyes to whatever I see, and I'm like, okay, this is a learning ground. And because there's a possibility for growth, I only think I can be better. I do not believe that I am already good. Regardless of the fact that I do unto others how I wish to be done by, I think also that, am I treating people fairly? Because trust me, Rusty, we can look at it in this perspective. If we say the word that we are good, we have to ask ourselves a different question. We can ask ourselves when we say, are we truly good to ourselves? Are the choices we are making, are they all good for us? Or are we making those choices because it helps us feel in a certain kind of light, even though those particular choices are destructive to us? Let's put, for example, I don't know, maybe I'm going to be diving too deep in this particular stuff. Because if we say that, maybe someone says I'm a good person, let's say you're smoking and you're smoking cigarettes and it's burning your heart and it's you. And then in the idea that you're a good person, a little child begins to watch you while you smoke. And because a little child begins to watch you while you smoke, that child might grow up because he look up to you, and that child might start smoking. And when that child starts smoking, that child may most likely have heart disease, and you might not have heart disease. So in one way, we have to look at our structure in life while we live life and ask ourselves, are we doing the best we can? Are we improving and becoming a better person? Here's what I did. Initially, I used to smoke weed. I say this. I used to smoke weed. And then I am smoking weed. I am not smoking weed to anybody. I don't smoke weed to disturb anybody. You make those choices because you think they are good, but in reality, they are not. It's in the mind. Absolutely. Now, I used to smoke weed. And while I was smoking this weed, I realized something at some point. And people will ask me, oh, what if your child asks you that, dad, why are you smoking? What will you be able to tell your dad? Or what will you be able to tell your son? Sorry. Just because I am not hurting another person, just because I am not beating somebody else, but the choice I am making for myself can make me do bad things, regardless of the fact that I am not doing evil to somebody else, but my son can emulate what he sees. And if my attitude is negative, I might destroy my son due to my own desire. I didn't hurt him. And I want you to remember something. Let's put it in this perspective. Most of the ladies who are into prostitution, they say they are doing what is good for them. Is it not my body? Did I go to your house to forcefully collect money from you? Did I come to your house and snatch your husband from you? But it is my body, and I'm just doing, the man sleeps with me and he gives me money and I'm okay. And that's done. But in the light of those ladies saying that they are prostitute and they are good people, they are just sleeping with men to make money, how have they polluted the generations of a lot of young ladies? If you ask those same prostitute, if you ask them that are they bad people, they will say, I did not hurt anybody. I did not do bad to anybody. So just because I am not doing evil to somebody does not necessarily mean that I am a good person, because I could be doing something that will be impactful to another person who is watching me. I hope that kind of makes sense. So if I understand that there is a possibility of something that I am not doing correctly, that there might be something, I can't just tell myself I'm a good person. I can't just believe in the fact that I'm a good person. I don't accept the fact that I'm a good person. I know that there's something I can improve on because I send a message consciously or unconsciously to somebody else. And every single one of us on the surface of this earth, we are a role model to somebody. We have seen cases where people are drinking and they don't fight anybody. You see people who drink, they don't fight anybody. And then you show your son that you're a good drinker, you take beer and the rest of it. And then your son is like, whenever my daddy drink is always nice, he's a good person. My daddy doesn't even disturb anybody because he just drinks and he enjoys himself alcohol. And your child is most likely not up to 18. And that child starts taking the cigarette he sees his father take, start taking the weed he sees his father take, but his father wasn't hurting anybody. And that child may take that cigarette, take that weed, take that alcohol, and that child is going to have accidents. Indirectly, you killed that child. Maybe the child is hiding to do it. Are you the best influence for the next generation? Are you the best influence for the society? If you look at yourself through that scope of viewing things, you would realize that there's something inside of you that needs to get better. Because when you admit to the word good, it simply means I am a good person, and being a good person is I don't do wrong. I am not doing wrong or something that is going to hurt people. We are. And so there's that room for improvement. Is Miss Lisa there? Because we're about to switch to your place. We've been discussing about trust and we have been waiting for you. One of the things I've been able to do is to choose competency over trusting people. Where did I write those questions for Miss Lisa? Is Lisa there? Absolutely, Creed. Being a good person is not enough. If Miss Lisa is there, I would have loved us to touch on few things. Anyone can be good. Yeah. Anyone can think they are good. Anyone can think they are good. Even Hitler. Even Hitler. You see, America is in a dilemma right now, and they're in a situation between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump. What picture is Donald Trump painting to the people? Donald Trump is painting to the people that he is a good person. Everyone will paint a picture that they are good. The only thing we can do as people is to improve ourselves because we are not completely good. Oh God. And I wrote some questions here that I wanted to ask Lisa. Yeah. Oh, she said she's here. Where did I drop? I write too much. And then it becomes trouble when I start looking for the things that I want to. It's probably. So hope you had a great time today at your place of work. Small steps. Okay. Oh, God. All in season. Oh, blood of God. I've written too much. All the books are kind of occupied. And I deliberately sat to think about Miss Lisa, and I was like, I had some questions for her, for us to deliberate on. Miss Lisa, let's just maybe continue this way. Listening and learning. Okay, one of the things I've been able to touch was the idea that we were speaking about trust. And the idea of trust is this. When you make a decision, we spoke about yesterday, let me even ask you a question before I proceed with my question. Do you still hold the same mindset you have after yesterday conversation regarding if men are the problem or not? Do you still hold on to that perspective that men are the problem, or double standard? There's double standard in relationship. Please, I'm just asking, do you still hold on to your stance that men are the problem, and there's continue your teaching, please? Okay, okay. I would have loved, because we were discussing about subject that has to do with trust, but it was Eve who got tempted to take the apple. Maybe Rusty has actually said something in the past that I wasn't watching. Okay, but it was Eve who got tempted to take the apple. I didn't get the rema where you're actually going, oh, Mr. Rusty. It was Eve. I'm trying to join those things together. But here's what I would say, since Lisa says we can continue. Maybe if I remember a few of those things, I will chip it in. Now, was saying men are apparently the root of all evil, but it was Eve who got tempted. LOL. Yeah. When it comes to the idea of that aspect of Eve and the rest of it, I think you and I would agree on one thing, that those are just comments from the Bible, and there's less. You just have to say some things to make people believe things. The story of Adam and Eve, if you read many books and the rest of it, it really doesn't add up at the end of the day. It doesn't really add up at the end of the day. But one of the things I think is this: when you go into a relationship, specifically, let us just focus on the relationship aspect, because when we talk about trust, most times trust is something that has to be emotional. She says, sad to say it. She agreed with you, Rusty, that women are the ones who had the fruits. Eve had the fruit. We don't know. Do you think that God Almighty will just create a garden, put a man and a woman there, and the only crime you have to do is to eat a fruit, just to eat one apple? He was the one who created everything. He could have taken that apple and throw it out of the Garden of Eden. So he actually put the apple there so they will get tempted. And if I am tempting you, I want you. There's a possibilities I want to see if you're going to fail. So you can't test me to see if I am going to fail, if not because you are expecting me to fail. The all-knowing God. Story for another day. But when it comes to the idea of trust, one of the things, the way I look at trust in relationship is that when I make a decision to go into relationship, you have an extreme delay receiving responses from us. Really? Really? Ah, is there anything I did here? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe what happens is that live chat, all messages are visible. Okay, maybe we try it this way. Possibly I'll be seeing everything. I have made a little bit of adjustment. Now, when it comes to the idea of relationship, one of my idea is this: when you go into relationship, first thing I think most people do that is wrong is the idea of trusting someone when going into a relationship. And if you put your trust in someone, it simply means you are shifting your responsibility to that person. What do I mean? I think I said it earlier when we started today's conversation. When I say give the definition of trust, and I say trust means confidence or some person, confidence in or reliance on some person or quality. Then I also talk about the idea that people often feel that trust is valuable because of its intertwined with security and predictability. So when you trust someone, it's simply because you are secured in that person, you want to be secured in that person, and you can predict that person. So what I mean is this: people often feel that trust is valuable because of its intertwined security and predictability. When you say you trust someone, you are essentially saying that you believe in their ability to act in your best interest. To act in your best interest, even when you are not watching. And that simply means that the word your best interest, when you say you trust someone, saying your best interest, it's not because you are greedy, but I think that you most likely are forgetting the part or the fact that that person, number one, is a human. And when you understand that the person is a human, the only criteria you can use to choose people to have a long lasting relationship is to look at their competency and their ability, their credibility. Credibility, competency, and ability. Now, in what way? You want a man who will take care of you. Let's say you go into a relationship with a man and you want that particular man to take care of you. The first thing you have to pay attention to is, does he take care of his parents? Does he take care of his sister? Does he show concern? So if you're looking at it from that angle, then you know he most likely will take good care of you because that is part of his attitude. Never go into a relationship believing or trusting the fact that that person would always have you in in your best interest. That means that everything the person is going to be doing is in your best interest. You have to look at, is this the normal attitude of this person? Because if you're not looking at it like, is this the normal character of this person, and you're thinking you're special, when he has been able to get fulfilled by his own desire, then he will treat you the same way he treats every other person in his life. Does he take care of his mom? Does he take care of his friends? Does he take care of his family? These are the things. And I'm not saying does he feed them. How caring is he to all those people? Now, if he's caring to all those people, he most likely will be caring to you. But a lot of us don't pay attention to that. We think just because we are who we are, this person is definitely going to be nice to us. And I say that when you look at the person's competency and the person's ability, look at what that person is actually loyal to. Is the person loyal to their work? Is the person loyal to their boss? How do they speak about their boss? How do they speak about other people? These are the things or factors that you look at when you begin to make a decision to go into relationship with person. And also understanding the fact that people change with time. You can't trust yourself as a person. And that was why we went from the subject of trust and we talk about good, and we started touching on good. And I always tell people that I don't think I'm good until you get into temptation. There was a time, there's this guy they call Joko Willings and Jordan B. Peterson. They were discussing something at some point, and they say most people think they are good people, but they bring out certain instances and they're like, there were wars where you see men, politicians who have been pretending, they say they have been pretending, who have been acting to the public that they are good people. And then there was an instance where they take the wife of the, I think it's a senator or somebody or governor. They took the wife of the person and they point a gun to the wife's head, and then they instruct the same governor to kill somebody. If he doesn't, they are going to kill his wife. What did he do? He killed the person. So you most times would think you are a good person until you fall into temptation. Then you know that you are capable of evil. When you don't know that you are capable of evil, it is easy for you to think that you are a good person. It is easy for you to admit that you're good when you don't understand that there's some dark side of you that you haven't realized. And so, the only thing you can trust on or you can believe when you go into a relationship with somebody is to confide in the idea that this person's character, how does it actually work? And then you ask yourself again, what are your desires? And when you ask yourself, what are your desires for a relationship, then you have to choose what are your priorities. Because you may say you want a dark, handsome, 6 foot tall guy, and he most likely might not have those qualities of a man. And then you say there's a 5 foot guy who might most likely have good character, be loving to his family, give to his society in one way or the other, and is caring to his people. Then this person is definitely going to be caring to you also. You have to prioritize certain things in your life and ask yourself, at the long run, what would you prefer? Because when most people make decisions and you are using your current desires to look at things at the moment, you most likely will be making the wrong decision. And I always tell people, when you go into relationship, don't put too much value on yourself. Yeah. Don't put so much value on yourself. Because when we put so much value on ourselves, then we begin to think that other people are not, we are supposed to be worshipped. And I think I once told people that the best way for you to be respected is to respect people. But I also have this thought that you have to also be careful of the people that you bring into your life if you truly want respect. Does that person also respect other people? Does that person actually respect himself? How does he speak to other people? These are all the qualities you can just look at. Okay, how does he love people? How does he care for people? Because if it is in his natural way of living his life, now when you find that same person in relationship, you wouldn't struggle with that individual, because that person is already in a state to continuously flow on that path. All our desires cannot be met. Sometimes some of us always think that for us to be able to be in love, not fall in love, for us to always be in love, our desires has to be met. Our desires can never be met in life. Lisa says, do men choose women in this way? Those are the things I use in choosing. And if I'm speaking, they say, out of the abundance of the heart, of the heart, the mouth speaketh. That's how I make my choice. And I know few people also that are close to me, that's how they make their choice. Rusty says men choose women nowadays by swiping left or right on an app. I had a theory. I just made it short, not quite long. Before I came live, I put a short and I talked about bad boys. And I wanted to say these things to Lisa, that there is double standards in life. And the men would most likely listen to it and maybe they would agree with me. There's double standards in the idea of relationship between men and women. And do not think that there's not going to be double standard. When you go into a relationship, understand that it is not because we made it that way. It is basically because double standard is part of our nature. Now, for example, I use the word bad boys. Bad boys, when I use the word bad boys, I know you might have a glimpse of what I mean by bad boys. Bad boys don't like bad girls, but bad boys love having fun with bad girls. I repeat, please just break it the way I'm taking it. Just look at it. I say bad boys don't like bad girls. Bad boys don't like bad girls, but bad boys love having fun with bad girls. Bad boys love good girls. Bad boy love good girls. So number one, putting at it in the idea of bad girls. Bad girls like bad boys, but bad girls despise nice guys or good guys. Is that not double standard? I don't understand LR, Lisa. Is it LR or FR? I don't understand that abbreviation of words. Okay, for real. Yeah. Oh, I'm a Nigerian. So I don't know most of those things. A lot of people say those things, but I don't pay attention to it. I have a lot to think than most of those abbreviation, and so I fail sometimes when people talk to me in that light. So one more time, let's just glance through it. Bad boys don't like bad girls. Bad boys love having fun with bad girls, but bad boys always love good girls. The double standard is bad girls like bad boys. In fact, they love bad boys and despise good and nice men. So, even in our DNA, in the way we make choices as people, there is automatically double standards. So Rusty says they like bad boys, when then hate every okay, they like bad boys, then hate every man when it all goes wrong. So the idea is, if you want to get, you have to ask yourself, what make bad boys interesting? And I think I've spoken about this particular subject at some point, that you see, I'm not going to pretend like I don't know what's going on. Most of these bad guys, when they get some girls and the rest of it, some ladies think that, oh, because the way he's aggressive towards me sexually, it means he loves me. Aggression from a bad guy doesn't mean he loves you. Aggression from a bad guy sexually can most likely be because he despises you. He's trying to do everything to ruin your mind. And as a man, every man can attest to this. When bad guys are doing certain things to you, what they are planning is to traumatize you, so that when you leave, you will still keep thinking about them. You would not be able to align yourself with another man. They are trying to traumatize your brain. Some people think that is just sexually aggressive. They are trying to traumatize you. It is traumatization. It is not love. The same man who is doing all those kind of stunts to those ladies, that man will go home to his wife and make a romantic love with his wife, the one who he loves, the good girls. He will go back home, or the girl he truly loves, that is a good girl, he will go back to that lady and he will propose love to that lady. He will treat that lady in a romantic way. I'm not saying it's not going to be a little bit aggressive, but it's not going to be the way it does to most of the bad girls. Bad girls in the eyes of bad boys are just for fun. The only problem in life right now, no wonder, yeah, according to Rusty, and that's the word everyone says, when a bad boy knows that he has done something with a lady and he despises you, he will tell all his friends everything he has done with you, and they will laugh at it. But trust me, if a guy loves you, he would never discuss his business with anybody out there. He would never discuss it. So innately, there is this double standard inside of us. You cannot fight it. It has nowhere it's going. So when you have a man who is caring, who is loving, and the rest of it, who listens, some people sometimes, one of the things I always tell ladies to do is that, when look at your man when he's speaking to his friends and when he's speaking to other people, if you want to make a choice to find a man, look also when he's speaking to people, maybe his family, maybe his mother, maybe his sister, maybe his friends. Does he actually listen to them when they speak to him? Or he kind of dismisses them every single time? Now, occasionally, he might not be in a mood to talk, and he just like, oh, baby girl, you, my sister, you want to say something right now? I'm not in the mood. Can we talk about it in 10 minutes? Because what you mostly need in a relationship is that you want affection and care from the man. Affection and care from the man simply means the man loves you. That does not indicate that he may not cheat on you. But there might be chances that he wouldn't want to cheat on you. Or there might be chances he will be afraid of losing you, and that would not let him do stupid things every time. So if he's not listening to his sister, if he's not paying attention to his mother, if he's not paying attention whenever he and his friends are talking, watch, out of 10 times when he speak, or out of 10 times you have observed him having conversation or communication with people, how often does he disrupt people's conversation? Hey, no, I have to say this. I am the one saying this, but how often does he do that? If he doesn't give you attention, now, because he pays attention when you were dating, don't think he's going to pay attention to you when you are married or as the relationship continues. That's when you guys are going to be having issues. And don't think also that because he's paying attention to you, because you guys just started dating, that means he's always going to pay attention to you. He would most likely not pay attention to you, because once he gets back to his comfort zone is that when he knows he has already have you, then he will reveal exactly himself to you. I do not pay attention to people, but most times it is basically because most ladies are thinking to pick a bad boy and turn him into a good guy. That is the mistake a lot of ladies make. We see those red flags, yet we make decisions to choose those part of people, those kind of people, basically because of our desire and the social expectation of how the man is supposed to be like or look like. So are there good guys there? Yes. But these are the criterias you can use to find the good guys. Does he listen? Is he caring to people? Does he respect everybody? At least he should be respecting about 80% of the people in his life. That shows, gives you a chance that yes, he's going to respect me at least 70 to 80% also. If he cares for his family, caring does not necessarily mean he spends money on his family every single time. That's not caring. That's not the caring I'm talking about. Caring is that they call him to tell him something is going on, or someone is sick or something like that. Does he pay attention and he send his condolences and he say, oh, this thing happens to this person, wow, what could we have done to help, or what can we do to help? Those concern, those are the care, those are the place you start picking up the signal that, oh, this man is going to be this particular way at the long run of our relationship. Because when you go into the relationship, you are flowing effortlessly in that relationship. So it's a criteria to get a good man. In that, I'm not saying that you completely have to trust him every single time, that is not going to betray you. But at least if you know his habit, all his habits, not the one he shows to you, but the one you discover of who he is to other people, then there's a chance that your relationship is going to last long. Trust me, your situation wouldn't be the idea that he cheated on you. You say, why? You have to put a context to the why so I understand. Okay, why is he going to cheat on you? Now, because first of all, you have to look at the idea of how much does he pay attention to other ladies? How often does he pay attention to other ladies? And the idea of, if you don't want your man to be tempted or you don't want him to fall, what you need to do is to create a strong bond with him. When you So bad boys don't like bad girls, but good boys like bad girls. No, good boys don't like bad girls. Good boys are only trying to be nice. And let me say you something. Good boys don't like bad girls. Mostly you're thinking that's good boys. No, those are nice guys. Nice guys like bad girls. There's a difference between good and being nice. When you're good, you know your value. When you're good, you are competent. When you're good, you have a circle, you have discipline, you have principle. She says, I noticed that good guys like and desire only fans women. They don't want nerd women such as themselves. Why is it that way? I noticed that good guys like and desire only fans women. They don't want nerd women such as themselves. You, I think I was talking about competence. Competence. A competent man is a good man. What do I mean by competent man? A man who can do evil and can do but decide to do a lot of good. That's a man who is competent. That's not a good man. Yeah. Good men don't want OnlyFans girls. Nice guys want OnlyFans girls. What do I mean by nice guys? Nice guys are the guys who don't have confidence in themselves. Nice guys are the guys who don't have confidence in themselves. They might be privileged to have money. They might be privileged to have properties. They might be privileged to have cars, but they are not good guys. They are nice guys. Nice guys do not have confidence to tell a girl that is doing something crazy to stop. Nice guys try not to offend anybody, and so they go ahead and spend their money to women just to be able to win the hearts of the woman. If you are only fans, do not respect yourself. Men do not seek women who can't even respect themselves. Absolutely. 1000%. 1000%. If you are OnlyFans, you do not respect yourself when you're into OnlyFans. So a man would most likely not take a woman who does OnlyFans will not take you serious. The bad guys will be the one sleeping with the girl on OnlyFans. The good guys might book for the OnlyFans, sleep with her, and just throw her out. The nice guys are the one that continuously pay money to watch an OnlyFans girl, expecting that she's going to love them. Yeah, yeah. So let me put it in this light, because when I speak to you guys, sometimes right now what I'm trying to do is that when I speak, I actually don't want to always talk about what concerns me. I'm so disgusted. What is disgusting you? Lisa, tell us what's disgusting you. Because I like having these conversations with you guys to relate with my audience specifically on our issues, what concerns us. Occasionally, we discuss about these things. What disgusts Lisa about the things that she has heard so far? And oh, Oh, you didn't get the message. What doesn't make sense? The idea that he might still cheat on you. Is it the idea that he might still cheat on you? Because if that is the idea of why you're choosing relationship, if someone may cheat on you or the person may not cheat on you, then you would not be able to flourish to experience the aspect of life, every aspect of life. Saying that I am married to my wife and we have 2 kids. While I'm in the relationship, you think I trust that there is no chance that my wife can ever cheat on me? That's a delusion. It is reality that human can disappoint you. Just because the guy I was talking about when I was giving you analysis about the qualities of what a man needs to have before you can choose that man, that doesn't mean because he's caring to everybody every single time he's going to be caring to you. Sometimes he would not be caring to you, and you have to understand that sometimes he's still a human being. If everyone is getting married thinking that because I am married there is no chance that my wife is going to cheat on me, then nobody is going to get married. Then there is no chance a man is going to get married or a man will be interested in getting married. Because look at it in this aspect: who lost the most in getting married? Now, the only reason why it wouldn't affect you is basically because you are already a business person, according to what you say. So, if you're a business owner, now that simply means you have the money already. And because you have the money, you want something to be exactly your way. The only thing you can do is to focus on material things that can actually work for you. Humans can do things that may most likely contradict your expectation, and you have to understand that that is a possibility. Because there's a possibility that someone can cheat on you, are there other qualities that person have that can make you overlook the idea of cheating? I know you talked about the idea of a woman who her husband cheated on her and he had HIV and he gave her HIV and she died. Yes. The only thing is, are you continuously going to keep running away from the idea of having a man in your life? And if you want to run away from the idea of having a man in your life, there is no problem about it. Here's what I always tell people: if you decide to get married, I'm fine with it. If you decide not to get married, I am fine with it. Only what my expectation is to people is that I hope you can see, I hope you can see 50 years from now, if you're still alive, or 30 years from now, if you're still alive and you are living alone, and the people who you call maybe your friends, your female friends, maybe most of these people will get married. Maybe most of these people will walk away. Do you know if your best friend, who tends to be a female, maybe she's going to get married with someone who she loves and perhaps they have kids? She has a different responsibility, so she most likely will not pay attention to you anymore. In fact, it comes to a point that they begin to complain like maybe you're disturbing their peace. 10 years from now, the season of everybody's life will change. And then you should ask yourself, if the friends you know today and you guys communicate almost every day, and there comes a time where you guys can only speak once in a month, and there comes a time your friend might decide to travel somewhere else and you guys can only speak once in 6 months or once in 3 months, do you think that when you are at the age of 45 or when you are at the age of 50, you can truly make new friends? Then, if there's a possibility you can make new friends, do you think that every friend who are with you right now, in the next 20 years, those friends are still going to be in your life and they will still be within that same environment? Then you have to ask yourself a question: 20 years from now, if you are alone with the money that you have, are you going to be comfortable with yourself and all your desires and pleasure are going to be met? Or rather, you have someone you can share your life with, regardless of the fact that there's going to be dispute at some point, regardless of the fact that there might be misunderstanding between the both of you. There's somebody who will be able to stick by you if that person is caring to their family and caring to you. If that person is giving to their family as much as the person is giving to you, is so behind on receiving response. I said that so long ago. "20 years from now, Creed and I are sort wondering how life on earth is." Mr. Rusty, am I behind, or do you think Lisa is most likely behind? The way you perceive the conversation, she says, "I'm behind." Can you tell her the same thing you did and you were able to catch up with the conversation? Because earlier I thought you had the same challenge. I can never be. Okay. So Lisa, um, Mr. Rusty says, can you fast forward the screen? Yeah, she must be some seconds behind. Yeah. There is no possibility when I speak I should be behind. I'm on live. Thank you, Mr. Rusty. Thank you very much. So that means most of the things I have analyzed for Lisa, she most likely didn't hear those things. One of the things I was telling Lisa, thank you, Rusty, once more. I was talking about the idea, just for your sake, I will have to rephrase some of the things I say. I was like, Lisa, when you are making decision about relationship, what you need to understand is you have to ask yourself 20 years from now, most of the friends you have might have gotten married and they might have moved to different places. 20 years from now, would you be okay being alone with your wealth and the resources and the success you have accomplished all by yourself without having someone to share it with? And the person you need in your life is most likely someone who you can who you can actually share your life with, in a sense that you have to look at the person. What are the characters the person have? Number one, is the person caring? Number two, is the person loving? And when I talk about care, love, respect, and the rest of it, not to you, because if you're looking at it from your own angle, you might be lost, or you might be making a lot of mistake. But how does the person act towards other people? And now, if you know how the person is acting towards other people, to their family, to their friends, then that means the person will be there in your life. There is a possibility that the person would most likely not be trustworthy in the idea of maybe he cheats or not. And I said something that when I got married, I didn't say to myself that there's no chance that my wife is going to cheat on me or she's never going to cheat on me. We went into it and I know the risk. The only thing is, I don't want to sound double standard, so let me leave that. But one thing I would advise you is this: 20 years from now, you have to look at yourself, tend to gravitate towards people similar to them to know if a person is good or not. Look at the people they surround themselves with. Absolutely. What men have to realize is that all women will not have a husband. There are more women than men, and also women want good husband, not just a man, any man. True. That is fact. So you have to just make a choice and you say, maybe I'm going to be married or maybe I wouldn't get married. You have to make that choice at this junction in your life, and you ask yourself 20 years from now, hope you're not going to have a man. And I've showed you, I think I've spoken about how you can get a man, and I've told you the criteria of seeing a man or having a good man in your life. So you have to be okay with the choice you make. And the choice is, are you okay with the idea that I would not be married, I would not have a man for the rest of my life? 20 years from now, regardless if my friends are married and they have gone different places, I will be okay being alone. And you ask yourself, how can you cope being alone? He said, what men have to realize, I think women have to realize they won't all have a husband. LOL. So basically, a human, okay? Maybe you finish your sentence, Creed. You have to be okay with that choice, because this is it. And how you would know you are okay with the choice is this: stay. Lisa, I can tell you, stay for 2 months without communicating with your friends and isolate yourself for some time. Maybe in 1 month. Just choose 1 month. Okay. So maybe in 1 month, you have to make a decision and ask yourself, okay, right now, I don't want a man. And there's a possibility that as much as I say I don't want a man or husband, my friends are most likely not going to be there in the future. If your friends are not going to be there in the future, look at yourself. And I said something earlier. I said at the age of 45 or 50, you can rarely have new friends. You can rarely have new friends. And when I talk about new friends, is that You cannot have friends that you would have bonds with. From the age 45, you can't have new friends that you're going to have bonds with. You can only have friends based off benefits. And I'm talking about female friends. Because the only people you will consider your friends are those ones who are your friends earlier. When you are in your 20s, you can get friends, good time friends. Sisters, brothers, I have my church, I have my friends, I exercise with, I have my pets. Oh God, now I hear pets. I was happy about everything I heard until I hear pets. You have your church, you have your nieces, you have your sisters, you have your brothers. That's fair enough. And the reason why I think it's fair enough is basically because I know that your nieces, your brothers, they are always going to be there in your life and they will stay close to you every single time. And they wouldn't see you as an individual who is maybe disturbing their peace with their children and the rest of it. I hope they wouldn't a season wouldn't come in their life where 20 years from now they will still be there every single time. Lisa says women don't feel alone like men. Lisa, so you want other women having your attitude that men are not worth the energy? I ask because surely you would want your brother to be happy. She says women consider all forms of love and nurture besides intimacy. Men feel alone, we just don't tell the world. We don't just tell the world. Well, I just believe this the reason why I actually speak about this subject is basically because one thing I know for sure is that I have seen a lot of bitter women who regret, regardless of the fact that they have family, that if they had known earlier they would have actually chose somebody in their life. Friends are like pizza, I don't have any. You know, a time is going to come, all those words are going to make sense. Because for me, if truly, if truly you do not care about men and you're comfortable, you wouldn't be upset with men in any way. There are men who do not desire to have a woman. But when men do not have a desire to have a woman, it's basically because the man prioritizes anything. And trust me, one thing you would see is that those men would not say negative things about women or see women in a negative light. They are just like, maybe I have a lot on my table. But whenever a woman speaks and she's like, men are not worth the energy, sometimes you want things and you are denying yourself of those things. I've met a lot of people like that. Trust me, I have. I have met a lot of people like that. They want something because if something is not useful to you, even when they talk about the subject, it wouldn't even it wouldn't draw your attention. I wouldn't go to a channel right now where people talk about baby napkins and the rest of it. It has nothing to do with me right now. But when I speak about things, when there's something that draws my attention, either it makes me love it or it makes me hate it, it simply means it draws my attention. So when you talk about the idea that, oh, men are unfaithful and blah, 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 one part inside of you wants a man. You are only being stubborn. One part of you truly wants a man. You are just resisting and denying that reality. And the evidence is in the obsession, in the anger, in the bitterness. If you want a man, Rusty, if you say you want a man and you want a man of this so caliber, an African man, blah, 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 then we can make an arrangement. If you say, I would like to have a good man in my life, a man that will most likely not cheat on me, a man who is respectful, a man who is caring, yes, we can make arrangements for that and say, okay, there's a possibility you can get that. And we can make it work. But if you're resisting, according to the words of Rusty, if you're resisting what you actually desire, you're doing yourself more harm than good. Because the evidence is that you are bitter about those men. When I see ladies who are into corn or pornography and the rest of it, it draws my attention because I am like, why is the world getting polluted with young girls? And I empathize with them. I don't hate them. I empathize with them. I empathize in the fact that, oh, ladies, you have to be careful because while you're enjoying, find your future simple. Because my statement is like, while you think you are enjoying your life, know that a season and a time will come in your life that all these men who are rushing after you, taking you everywhere, those men will no more be there. Just because men are running towards you and approaching you and asking for your attention, don't think a time is going to come that they are not going to even give a damn about you. But if you put yourself in a position where one person sees you as a valuable person, that he can spend his rest of his life with you, basically because you honor and you respect your body, then you will be in a great place. Because most of the ladies I know who are saying, I'm alone, I don't want a man, what I always know about most of them is, number one, they always have pets, and after some times they start having medications. What's the medication for? Depression, anxiety, so that they can have good sleep or good rest. At some point, you would not have the motivation for you to exercise anymore. All this exercise, all this church, all these things, at some point, you will feel reluctant to go to church. At some point, you would be so much attached into the life of your nieces and you would see that you are choking them up. I have a son, I have my children, and I play with them almost every time, and I know the time they don't need my presence. When my children don't want my presence and they want to play the way they want to play, I have to excuse them. Do not think Just because you are an auntie or a good auntie who most likely have the money to buy things for them, don't think at some point they wouldn't still say, auntie, you are bothering and you're choking us. So when you start asking yourself, why are you going to church in the first place? To you want to believe in God, knowing fully well, yeah, you want to believe in God, knowing fully well that most of the things you desire or your innate nature actually desire are not being met. At some point, you will ask yourself a question: why am I even going to church? Why am I even exercising? Maybe I should take 2 days off. I don't necessarily have to be motivated to go to the gym. And before you know, here's what I know about life. When man wants to self-destruct, or when something terrible wants to happen, it starts little by little. To hot gas. So you are saying I will become a nuisance to? No. I'm saying, okay, to others. Okay. No. What I'm saying is, hopefully you wouldn't get bitter when reality begins to set in, that people change and faces change for every single person. And the face of your brothers and your sisters, all those things can change. Since you say you have a pet, there's an assurance by God's grace you will live longer than your pet. The question is that if you still have the chance to make a choice right now and you can still correct things, hope you are aware of the challenges. Yes, pets. Hope you are aware of the challenges of being alone. If you are aware of the challenges of being alone and you know you will be fine, completely fine, there is no problem. But one thing I know is this: if men do not matter to you, when people talk about their husband, when people talk about men, it wouldn't trigger you. It wouldn't trigger you. If it triggers you, it's simply because you want it. But if you're resisting it and you're resisting your desire, this is you see, some things in life are natural desire. I may desire to get a Tesla, and if I don't have a Tesla, it would never disturb me for the rest of my life. If I desire to go to maybe to go to Colombia, and I did not go to Colombia, it has nothing to do in my life. Those are just petty desires. But if I desire to be able to feed, I am hungry and I want to feed and I can't feed, I have to get fed. If I desire that I want someone who I love in my life, if I don't have it, it's going to trouble me. Let me put it in this perspective. If I desire to have children in my life and I don't have it, it's going to bother me. So the Tesla is in a sense that if I don't get Tesla, it doesn't make any sense to me. So the question is this: If you truly know that you don't want a man or you don't want men at all, you shouldn't be upset by the idea that men are useless, men are worthless. If men leave the earth is going to be a better place. It has been one of the things that I've been taught in the society. You know, when the only time when the reality sets in fully is when people start going for blood check and start saying, oh, I need checkup, I need this, I need to take my medications every single time. Because I know where you can actually see strong witches in Africa. If you want to see strong witches, if you want to see real evil witches, when you go to certain villages, you would see women, old women without husband and without children. When you see them, look into their eyes, you will see how bitter they are. And then you would realize that they are very bitter and they most likely would hurt anybody that they have chance to hurt. And the result of that is basically because they didn't fulfill all their natural needs till they get old. Most of them wish they have children. Most of them wish they have husband, but they've done something terrible. And this is one thing I understand that most likely can cause bitterness in the hearts of people. With that being said, I hope you are going to find your ways, and some other time, if you're interested in getting a man, we can discuss about it. But if you choose your path and you say this particular path you want, I just believe if you're choosing it consciously, you wouldn't be angry. So let's have a great day. Hopefully, we see tomorrow. I'm going to be making some videos tomorrow. Hopefully, we see tomorrow. And I hope you all relax and have a great day ahead. For those who join, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you do subscribe. Creed, thank you for joining. Lisa, thank you for joining. Rusty, thank you for joining. Hope to see you tomorrow. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye for now. Peace.